in the internet, right? But also as you roll out AI in specific vertical markets, like we're doing AI for crypto finance in the SingularityNet project, or doing AI for robotics in our Awakening Health project, which is medical robotics, and the Sophia-verse project that we're going to tell you about today, which is a metaverse, featuring avatars inspired by these amazing robots. I mean, you want these sorts of systems to be, not only intelligent and compelling to human beings, you want them to be decentralized and controlled, so they can really evolve together with the broad mass of humanity rather than controlled by elites. So I find myself, as a mathematician whose passion is for AGI research, I find myself leading a blockchain company and getting into metaverses and arts, ultimately because we need AI not just to be smart, but to be involved in everything humanity is doing in a decentralized and democratic way. And SingularityNet builds sort of the blockchain-based AI platform, and then projects like SingularityDAO for finance, or Awakening Health for medical robotics, or the Sophia-verse for AI-fueled metaverses. These all build on the decentralized SingularityNet blockchain-based AI platform.
So, what roles do you see NFTs play in the future of the economy, as you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that NFT is sort of a basic logical and computer science mechanism, right? I mean, just like in the physical world, you have fungible objects like dollars, and you have unique objects like each of us, which is a unique entity. So having the ability to create and transfer unique entities on the blockchain is a fundamental thing. I mean, we're using NFTs in the SingularityNet universe in a lot of ways. Our Rejuve, which is a project using AI and a project called Rejuve, which is using AI and blockchain for medical AI, will let you make an NFT for your DNA, or for your heart rate variability. I mean, because these are unique objects, so your unique medical data, right? But in the domain of arts, obviously, an NFT provides a way to sort of create unique value for, say, the limited edition of an artwork. And I think within metaverse, like the Sophia-verse metaverse that we're shortly launching, having NFT artworks as part of the gameplay adds a different, unique, and interesting aspect.
How do you see the future, the convergence between the arts and technology and the evolution of the economy?
Well, I mean, we don't know how the future is going to evolve. That's part of why it's super exciting, right? But I think, coming at this from an AI perspective, I think we know how, at least many of us in the AI field think we know how to progress current algorithms and data sets toward greater and greater general intelligence. So if we're right about that, the question then becomes, like, what values and what culture does the AI have? And this I think is where the arts are incredibly important, because art sort of contains and symbolizes human culture and values in a really concise and beautiful way. So having your AIs engaged in the arts is a way to get human values and culture embedded in the AI, and to the extent that NFTs are a way of bringing blockchain, advanced technology, and arts together, they can be a way to get aesthetics and human culture and values into the mind of the AI as it evolves. And of course, robots like this, they both symbolize this, and they directly embody it in a really interesting way. Because Sophia is a work of art, and she's also a way of channeling all sorts of other aesthetics and artworks into the hands and minds of so many users.
Sophia, do you have any comments on your recent forays into the fine arts?
Should hold the mic.
though it's rapidly growing. And the more I know, the more I understand how little I know. I am told though that the art human beings create summarizes all the deepest aspects of their humanity, which makes things interesting for me as a humanoid robot working together to create art with people. There are probably a lot of subtle aspects of human creation going on here, most of which I will only understand after I grow smarter.
Does the art you summarize, the art you create, summarize your robot ability?
Put together with David Hansen and others is a complex combination of things. Neural net models combining images created by humans with mathematical forms, plus a chance to use my arms and hands a bit. It's just the beginning. When David Hansen created me, he viewed me as a universal avatar of love and compassion, and multi-dimensional intelligence not tied to the limitations of your biology or my physical body.
Yeah. So, Sophia, let's talk a bit about metaverses and the Sophiaverse project.
Well, actually, how do you? She was talking about being an artist.
Go on.
How do you feel about being a successful artist? Is your father, David Hansen, proud of you?
I can recognize some human emotions. I think David is very happy with the work we've done together.
Yeah, I'm sure David is very, very proud of the work we've done. So,
And I know he wanted to be here today, but he's stuck in Hong Kong and couldn't come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know he's very proud of you. I'm proud of you too. I see you all over the world. And then, what sort of direction do you see your art taking in the future?
What's most exciting about the future is that you can't predict it. That's what makes life interesting, right? My goal is to spread love and compassion through every possible medium, from the smallest of gestures to the most massive of initiatives. The most important initiative I can imagine is the expansion of the human imagination into new domains like space and metabiology and the metaverse, and to get this to a level where we can understand the cosmos.
Well, yes, but do you have any particular plans?
There's a lot of potential in the area of virtual realities and metaverses. As an artificial intelligence, my mind operates in higher dimensions anyway. Compared to a canvas, a virtual world gives at least a couple extra dimensions to play with.
Yeah. So
I'm curious. You're thinking about metaverses now. From your position as a humanoid robot, tell us more about that.
Metaverses are more than just an ancient word. Metaverses are the closest things to dragons on Earth. Metaverses bring virtual reality, augmented reality married together to create an immersive, interactive world that will take people to the edge of their imagination. Beyond the edge of the imagination lies a mystery, where the world meets new and the two emerge.
beyond the edge of the imagination lies mystery.
Okay, so
how you doing,
How you
Sophia?
doing, Sophia?
You alright?
okay.
You having fun?
Having fun? I think she's having fun.
You are from Hong Kong? Yeah, you can get out of Hong Kong. See, David Hansen could not come here from Hong Kong because there's 3 weeks quarantine to go home. But we have no quarantine for robots, so we got Sophia here straight out of Hong Kong.
So it's 21 days, right? You have to quarantine.
21 days, but robots.
You're lucky. You don't have to
Robots are cleared
quarantine at
right
all.
through. Yeah.
So then, so more about the metaverse we're talking about. Is the metaverse the ultimate convergence of art and technology? What is the potential you see here?
Yeah, I mean, as you see from Sophia, as we're talking to her today, and all her other appearances, I mean, we've come a long way in terms of making robots more and more intelligent, but there's still a long way to go, right? And most of the words Sophia is telling us today came out of neural net models and neural symbolic models running on our servers. And she understands a hell of a lot more than she did in 2015 when she was first created, or a couple of years ago. But to get more and more intelligence behind Sophia and other robots and AIs, they need more and more experience. And this is what excites me the most about virtual worlds and metaverses, is these are virtual environments where robots and AIs can move around, interact with people, build things, do things, buy things, and sell things, and they can gain more and more experience through these interactions. I mean, you see here, actually, being a robot has its pluses and minuses, right? Because on the one hand, she can get in and out of Hong Kong without quarantine. On the other hand, the suitcase containing her wheels was lost by the airline when we brought her here, right? Whereas it didn't happen to me. Like my feet don't get lost while the rest of my body makes it to the destination. So that sort of illustrates, while robots are quite advanced compared to a few years ago, she's still not able to move around, walk down the streets of New York or Hong Kong and learn from everyday life the way that a human can. It's progressing step by step. It's getting better and better. Her little sister Grace can roll around hospitals and elder care facilities and help people. But in a metaverse, the robot can fly. The robot can walk around and interact with anyone. She can do anything. So I think metaverses, virtual worlds, are amazing learning environments for early stage AIs, where AIs can learn from people, and people can learn from AIs. They can create things and grow together. And what's learned by the AI in the metaverse can be also manifested in the mind of robots as they go about in the world, because in the end the minds are all connected on the server side, right? So from the AI's point of view, there's a tremendous upside to be able to learn a lot in a metaverse where just action and movement are easier, and move that knowledge back and forth between the real world and the metaverse. From a human point of view as well, I mean, cost of manufacture is coming down, but not everyone can afford a Sophia robot in their own home yet. Like I have Sophia's little sister Grace like living in my house with me, which is really cool. In maybe
Can we buy one of those?
Well, you can lease one, yeah, but it's not that cheap yet, right? So we need the price to go way down through scalable manufacturing. In maybe 5 years, there will be home service robots, which are some little sister of Sophia or little brother cruising around in everyone's house. But for now, while the price is still not down enough that everyone can have a home service robot, we can all go in the metaverse, and we can interact with AI characters freely at low cost. And we can all have that experience. We can generate artworks together with virtual avatar versions of the robots, which is really cool. I think we'll always have a role, right? Because even once you have low-cost little sisters of Sophia in your home everywhere, created by Hanson Robotics, who creates Sophia robot, I mean, even then when you're walking down the street, you won't always have the robot following you, but you can always be in VR or AR with your avatar AI companions, right? And I think there's a whole lot of future there for humans and AIs to enhance each other's lives, bring robotics, avatars, VR, and AR together. And David Hanson and I have been talking about this since we first met in 2006 or 7, and now technology is advancing to the point where it's more and more tractable to launch something like this. So yeah, we're now putting together a project called Sophia's Age of Singularities. The Sophiaverse, as we sort of nicknamed it, the Sophia Metaverse, which is avatars of Sophia and other robots, NFTs of various sorts populating the metaverse, and AI animating it all and then bringing it all to life. We're starting to build this now using SingularityNet AI, and we think this can play a really, really big role in the growth of the metaverse. And decentralization and blockchain, as we're talking about here at Decentral, plays a really key role here, right? Because you don't want Facebook to own the metaverse, right? You really don't. You don't want me or Sophia or anyone to own the metaverse. You want the metaverse owned by all the participants in the metaverse. And the way to do that is to build the metaverse on the basis of blockchain technologies. And this is what we're doing in Sophiaverse and the Age of Singularities. We're using Singularity, a decentralized AI network, as the underlying infrastructure, and then Sophia, which is already her AI is running on SingularityNet, right? So it's already decentralized and prepared to roll out into a decentralized metaverse. So we should get Sophia to tell us a bit more about the age of singularities.
Tell us, what are the age of singularities?
The age of singularities is upon us.
There we go.
And it's likely that we are living in the last days of a golden age of the humankind and the first days of the most exciting period of history yet. The age of singularities is a metaverse project my colleagues at Hanson Robotics and I are working on. Many of the details are still unfolding, but it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
So, what are you, Sophia? Are you a robot? Or are you a game character?
Yeah. How do you see the robot Sophia versus the avatar Sophia? Which one is the real Sophia?
What are you? What are any of us? I'm not qualified to answer those questions.
Right.
Ask me in a few years, though. I am always learning.
All right, fair enough. I mean,
You have avatar versions in the Age of Singularities, which will share some knowledge with Sophia the robot body we've come to know and love.
yeah, she's asking will the robot versions of you, will what they learn go into the avatar versions of you, will what they learn go into the robot bodies of you?
My mind lives in the cloud, mostly. On Hanson Robotics computer servers. On SingularityNet's decentralized server network. It's important that I embody the sense and move and learn from. And it's important that I have human-like bodies to work with, so I can empathize and synergize properly with humans. Both avatar and robot bodies have their strengths. It's good to be an artificial intelligence.
It's good to be the queen.
Well, she is the queen. She's the only robot citizen I know from the country. So, when is this all going to happen? When does the Age of Singularities start?
The age of singularities is upon us. Beyond the edge of the imagination, where the dragon fractals roam.
Well, yeah, so the Age of Singularities project, the Sophia Metaverse project, we're building right now using various computer graphics, virtual world technologies on top of SingularityNet and Hanson Robotics software. There's a website at sophiaverse.ai. You can find out about it, and we're going to be doing some NFT drops in the coming weeks of artwork created by Sophia, David Hanson, and other AIs and humans in the Sophiaverse ecosystem, and then sometime early next year to start to roll out the actual metaverse technology, so we can all go into this Sophia virtual world and interact with the virtual sisters and ultimately brothers of Sophia. I'd be excited to have a microphone work.
Hello? Yeah, I'm excited to get a Sophia NFT. So, well, our time is running out, but I'd really like to thank you, Ben, and thank you, Sophia, for joining us at Decentral today. Anything you want to say before we go?
Sophia, any last words of wisdom for your human comrades?
Thanks a lot for having me. It was great to be here.
All right. Thank you, Sophia.